Record. Good afternoon. Welcome everybody. It is 4 o'clock, so let us begin. I am Hema Kulkarni, Dr. J. Apte's friend and a co-host for this series. I am sure you are all looking forward for her talk today. I have taken her seminar before and enjoyed it very much. She will talk about the Ayurvedic way of healthy living. You will also receive a lot of simple and healthy tips. But before we begin, let us talk about a few housekeeping items. Every Sunday, we will start exactly at 4 p.m. So please join in a few minutes before. Save this link for the future use. It will work for all the 5 sessions in this seminar. We are not going to send it again. If your friends are interested, ask them to send an email to jay@dfwveda.com. That is j@dfwveda.com. So we will add them to the database. Dr. Apte sent some handouts after the seminar. It becomes easy for us to send one email to the whole group. If you have a question, write it in the chat. Dr. J will talk approximately 45 to 50 minutes. Then we will have a question and answer session. She will answer the questions from the chat as long as the time permits. Now let me put everybody on mute. So let's get started. Dr. J, over to you.
Okay. Thank you, Hema, and thank you all of you to join in. I always like to begin each session with a prayer of healing. So let us all close our eyes and take a deep, long breath. With each inhalation, balloon the belly, and each exhalation, pull the belly in, and continue breathing. Feel the movement of the belly. Now observe your mind. And you will see that as the mind is connected with your breath, it slows down, becomes very peaceful and calm and tranquil. And now I'm going to chant a prayer. सर्वेऽपि सुखिनः सन्तु सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। May all be happy. May all be healthy. May all see the reality behind life. May there be no pain or suffering in the universe. May there be peace, peace, and peace. And keeping this peace within, gently Open your eyes. And namaste, everybody. If you keep your view on a speaker's view, so you will see the picture bigger. So this is all about health. This is all about being happy and all. But always remember that being healthy is not the goal in life. It is the prerequisite. So anything we want to achieve in life, we have to be healthy. And there are different ways of staying healthy. We all know the conventional medicine. There is Chinese medicine, there is Ayurveda, there is homeopathy, there is chiropractic. So there are various ways, and I respect all the pathies because there is something unique in each pathy that offers health and healing. When it comes to emergencies or accidents or heart problems and all, there is no alternative to conventional medicine because we have to first save the life. But when it comes to prevention and when it comes to treating chronic diseases, Ayurveda comes to our rescue. And I, being an Ayurvedic doctor and practicing for more than 40 years, I just wanted to share Ayurvedic wisdom to you.
Cannot hear you.
You're muted.
We cannot hear you.
Mute myself. Now, do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, now let me share my presentation again. Okay, so the title of this whole seminar series is Golden Health in Golden Years. And what about these golden years? We all know that at this age, we are on the roller coaster and we are going down the hill very fast. So what happens? Our blood pressure start rising, our blood sugar starts spiking, cholesterol start increasing, our vision goes down, hearing goes down, memory, there is memory loss, the bones start becoming weak, and all these kind of problems. But on the other side of the golden years, we have done that, been there. We worked very hard, raised our children, took care of our families and all. So now this is our time. And that's what I think this age, we always call these are the golden years. So we can enjoy our passions and all. So what we want to do in our life, which we did not have time before, this is the time to take care of all our hobbies and our passions and everything. But there is also they say that you can get help getting older, but you don't have to get old. So aging always happens. Since we are born, the aging happens. Only at this age, the aging becomes faster. But if you follow this Ayurvedic lifestyle, if you follow Ayurvedic tips, we can slow down aging. And as I said earlier, that we can even feel younger than getting older. And the second part is, but you don't have to get old. And that means if you stay young at heart, if you stay mentally young and keep yourself busy doing so many things, you will really see that your body will keep on going as long as you want it to go. And that's the beauty about it, bringing the mind and body together, feeling positive, keeping yourself busy instead of just sitting at home and watching TV. You keep yourself busy doing so many things which you love to do in your whole life. Somebody can take some classes, photography classes. You can travel around the world. You can hike and bike. You can learn the music. You can learn art. You can play golf. Sky is the limit. But whatever your passion is, You have to just keep on going, because after all, we always say that age is an issue of mind over matter. So if you don't mind, it does not matter. So it is really true. If you keep your mind very kind of in the positive state, and body will follow with that, and we will enjoy these our golden years a lot. Then since we are talking about health, what is health? And if I ask you this question, many of you will say, normally we define health as the absence of disease. But that is not true, because we are born healthy. And when we are not healthy, then comes the disease. Or when we are not at ease, then comes the dis-ease. So Ayurveda has very positive definition about health. Because if you say that absence of disease is health, then you have to do all those blood work and CT scan and MRI and EEG, EKG, and all the tests and all, and prove that I don't have any disease. Then I may be healthy. But Ayurveda is exactly opposite. Ayurveda has very positive definition of health, and that is perfect health is the balance of natural energies in the body. So in a couple of minutes, I will explain you about these natural energies and optimum digestion, because it is very important. All our body tissues are formed from the food we eat, but our digestive system has to be optimum. Then only we are going to digest the food, and body is going to create those tissues. So digestion is central to everything in the body. Then the optimum elimination. When the body digests food, build the tissues and all, whatever waste is created, it needs to be removed from the body. So we know the kidney also do the function. Our colon does that function. Our skin is getting rid of some toxins through the sweat. We exhale, so through the carbon dioxide we are getting rid of some of the waste and all that. So that optimum elimination also is very critical and important. Then when digestion happens, body builds strong tissues. So all the muscles, the bones, the fat, the blood, our immune system, all these tissues, when they are strong, then we can enjoy our health for a long period of time. And Ayurveda doesn't stop only at the physical level, but our five senses, the sharp senses. Our vision has to be very clear. Our hearing has to be optimum. Our touch sensation, our taste, our smell, all these senses have to be very sharp, and our mind should be very peaceful. And even further, our thinking has to be very clear. So Ayurveda is defining health at three levels: physical level, emotional level, and spiritual level. Even when I chanted the healing mantra, at the end we said peace, peace, and peace. Why peace three times? Because peace at the physical level, peace at emotional level, and peace at spiritual level. So that is the definition of Ayurveda, is to have health at the physical balance, or the harmony at the physical level, emotional level, and the spiritual level. Now, many of you may not know exactly what Ayurveda is and what Ayurveda can offer. So let me just take you to the journey into Ayurveda, how it is different than conventional medicine. So Ayurveda is the Veda wisdom about Ayu, about healthy living. And in Ayurveda also, like Ashtanga Yoga, Ayurveda is also divided into 8 different limbs. And one limb is called Swastha Vritta. And Swastha Vritta is the chapter where they offer all the tips to stay healthy. And that is very important. Even Ayurveda's first goal is Swasthasya Swasthya Rakshanam. It's not just to treat the disease, but the person who is healthy is to preserve his health. And that is very critical. And that's what Ayurveda offers, it is the wisdom about healthy living. Then is the science of body, mind, and spirit. As I earlier also said, it's not only the physical body, As a matter of fact, many times, many physical diseases arise from the emotional imbalance, because mind is the energy and its imbalances reflect, manifest on the physical body. So Ayurveda talks about the mind a lot, and that spirit, that throb, that pulsation, that vibration of that life energy, or we call prana. Chinese people call chi. So that is that spirit. So Ayurveda talks about all these three levels: body, mind, and spirit. And that is also very different than many modalities. The third is Ayurveda is the science of nature. And let me ask you a question. What will you call as a nature? Maybe mountains, the trees, the forest, the rivers, the ocean is the nature. Yes. But do you think all the birds and animals are nature? Yes, they are also part of nature. Do you think humans are also nature? Yes, the human beings are also nature. That's what we call Mother Nature. We are directly connected to the nature. So the energies that control the changes in the nature, same energies work in our body too. And that's why we are directly connected to the nature, and the different seasons and seasons have a direct effect on our health or ill health. Then this is Ayurveda offers personalized health. And this is a very unique concept only in Ayurveda, because we all know we are not genetic clones of each other. We have different looks, we have different likes, we have different personalities. Even think about your brothers, sisters coming from same parents, but still our personality is different. We look different, we talk differently. So that is every person is very unique. And that's what Ayurveda does not treat like one size fits all. Ayurveda takes care of every person, one person at a time. And Ayurveda offers that personalized health regimen, personalized diet plan, personalized exercise plan, and lifestyle plan. And that's what Ayurveda, when we kind of analyze people Ayurvedically, all of a sudden that person knows so much about himself and what foods are good, what lifestyle good, and all that. I'm going to talk more about this. So Ayurveda offers personalized health. It is not one size fits all. So same medicine, if somebody has diabetes, just take metformin. Metformin, taking one medicine is not going to take care of all the problems. There is so much personal variation, and that's what Ayurveda always takes into consideration. Then Ayurveda's emphasis is on prevention. As I said, swasthasya swasthya rakshanam. Person who is healthy is to prevent his diseases and preserve his health. And we always say that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. But where are we going to find that ounce of prevention? So Ayurvedic lifestyle is that ounce of prevention. Ayurveda explains in very simple terms, it's not medical terms, very simple terms, how you can prevent most of the diseases and stay healthy. Ayurveda treats the disease by removing the cause. When it comes, the second goal of Ayurveda is Aturasya Vikara Prashamanam. So person who has a disease is to treat the disease, but by removing the cause of the problem. Because remember, our symptoms are the effect, and effect will never go away unless we take care of the cause. Cause and effect, they are directly related. So once the cause is gone, then the effect wears off. And that's what in Ayurvedic way of healing, we always are trying to find what is the cause of the problem. And let me give you one example. If somebody comes with me for the headache, generally we take Tylenol, but Ayurveda says, why do you have a headache? Is it because of congestion? Then we'll give different herbs. Is it because of constipation? The herbs will be different. If it is because of your day is very stressful, or you have high heat in the body, the herbs will be different. Because in all those three cases, the cause of the disease was different. Headache is the common symptom, but the cause is different. And that's why to remove the cause, we use different herbal formulas to take care of it. That's the beauty about Ayurveda. And you know, I have been practicing Ayurveda here in US for last 40 years. And I see so much difference once we start looking at each and every client through Ayurvedic view. It's really amazing. And every year, my passion about Ayurveda keeps on increasing. And it also recommends the natural herbs as a medicine. Simple thing, if you have digestion problem, just take ginger. Ginger is so available everywhere. It is so inexpensive, but it has tremendous effect on our body. It improves your digestion. It is natural anti-inflammatory, so it will reduce the joint pain or the body pain. It will reduce your congestive headaches. It will clear your mind. It is good for all the systems in the body. So that's how, because herbs are made up of same 5 elements. In Indian language, we call Pancha Mahabhutas, and body is made up of same Pancha Mahabhutas. That's why body can process those herbs very easily. And we always recommend even the herbs on the personalized basis. And that's what we get excellent results with that. So you can see amazingly how Ayurveda is different, that its focus is on prevention. It is the science of body, mind, spirit connection. It is directly relates us to the nature and focuses more by removing the cause of the problem and uses natural herbs. So you may think that what is the foundation of Ayurveda? What is the basic central theme about Ayurveda? As I said earlier, that Ayurveda is a science of nature. So what are the 3 energies controlling the changes in the nature? Year around, we get different seasons. In late winter and spring, it rains a lot or snows a lot. So there is more water element in the nature. There is more moisture in the nature. There is more humidity in the nature, right? But this humidity is throughout the year, but only the proportion during spring, late winter and spring is more. So this water energy we call as a kapha dosha, that is one natural energy in our body also, because same 3 energies control all the systems in the body. And what is the function of kapha dosha or the water energy? It is the energy of building tissues, and it helps us to grow. It is the energy to nourish all the systems, to lubricate all the systems. And let me give you an example. The cerebrospinal fluid, we always call CSF, that nourishes our nervous system. The fluid in the lung nourishes our heart and lungs. The fluid in the digestive system protects and lubricates our whole digestive system. Otherwise, with the hydrochloric acid and all digestive enzymes, it will be on fire. But this kapha dosha nourishes it, lubricates it, and protects it. The synovial fluid in our joints, it protects our joints. So wherever there is more action and friction and heat, kapha dosha is always there protecting us and helping to build the body, build the tissues and all. Then the second energy is the heat energy, the temperature. When we watch the weather channel, what do they talk about? How much is the humidity? How much is the temperature? And what the wind chill? So those are the 3 energies they talk about. Even our seasons also during summertime, the heat energy is predominant. I am in Texas here. So temperature rises to 100 degrees, 110 degrees and all. So that heat energy, the second energy that we call as a pitta dosha, and that is the energy of transformation. And we all know that to any change to happen, we have to give heat or take away the heat. So heat always makes the transformation. And where is this transformation happening in the body is mainly our digestion and metabolism. Body has to maintain certain temperature. Think about this, outside could be 30 degrees, outside could be 0 degrees, outside could be 100 degrees. But our internal temperature in the body is always around like 97 degrees Fahrenheit. No matter how much is externally, body always has to maintain around 97 to 97.5 and all. Then only body will function right. If the temperature becomes 99, you will have fever. If that temperature becomes 95, body will be in hypothermia and body will not work. So maintaining body temperature, maintaining the color of our skin, luster of our skin, our thinking, our ideas and all, that is all the function of Pitta dosha, the fire element or the heat energy. And the third energy is we call as a Vata dosha, and Vata dosha is the wind energy in fall. What happens? The weather becomes cold and windy. All the leaves start falling in fall season and all that. This is the energy, like a wind, is the energy of actions. So I'm talking, we talk, we walk, all the blood is flowing through the body, the food is circulating, our thoughts are circulating in the body. So all those actions and movements are possible because of this Vata dosha or because of the wind energy and breaking down all the old tissues. So body is building new tissues and body is breaking down old tissues to create the new one. So remember, when we live for 70, 80, 90 years or even beyond 100, all the cells do not live that long. Cells have their own lifespan. For example, your skin cells live only for 1 month. So old cells are dying, body is creating new cells from the food we eat. Okay, so all this breakdown and all is happening because of Vata dosha. Building is happening because of Kapha dosha, and because of Pitta dosha, all the transformation is happening. So these are the three energies in the nature year around, even in daily, even in our lifestyle, life cycle, and all that. So our life, our health is nothing but the play of all these three energies. When they are in balance, you are in health. When they are imbalanced, you may have some symptoms. For example, if this kapha dosha, the moisture or the humidity becomes excessive, you may get allergies, you may get cough, congestive headache, you may gain weight, you may have some swelling in the body. If the pitta dosha aggravates in the body, you may get heartburn, you may get some skin issues, your eyes may burn, your body temperature will increase, your blood pressure may rise, and all that. If the wind energy increases, then your mind will be restless. It will be very difficult for you to sit in one place. You may have restless leg syndrome, or your mind will be more kind of becoming anxious and all that. So our goal is to maintain the balance of these three energies so we can stay healthy. So health is the balance of energies. Disease is imbalance of these energies. So throughout our life, as I said, the foundation, the basis of Ayurveda is these three natural energies. We call three doshas: Kapha dosha, Pitta dosha, and Vata dosha. So now seasons, as I earlier said, that Kapha dosha, it rains a lot, snows a lot. There is moisture more in the nature during late winter and springtime. And also the Kapha dosha, like water, we know water is very heavy, water is cold, and water is moist or liquid. So we always make a best use of these qualities of each doshas to heal the person, to prevent the disease or to treat the disease. These qualities also are important. So Kapha dosha is predominant in late winter and spring. It's always there throughout the year, throughout the day and night, throughout our life cycle. But the predominance is during late winter and spring. And you know that millions of people have allergies, mucus congestion, all the upper respiratory problems during the springtime. And that is because the kapha dosha aggravates in the body. So what is the prevention? We can balance this kapha dosha, not with medicine, but with the food and lifestyle. So remember, kapha dosha is only heavy, cold and moist, but it is only heavy among the three. Kapha dosha is only heavy. Then let's talk about Pitta dosha, is this fire element, heat element. And we all know that summer is the season of high temperature, lot of heat in the nature and all. And Pitta dosha is hot, light and moist because we perspire during this season. It is moist in nature and it is only hot. I have underlined these qualities. Kapha is only heavy, Pitta is only hot, and the third is Vata dosha, that is predominant in fall and winter. Vata dosha is predominant in fall and winter, and the qualities are dry, cold, and light. So remember, this is new to you, but always remember these three energies. Water energy is we call Kapha dosha, heat energy we call Pitta dosha, and wind energy we call as a Vata dosha. So every day, every night, every season, all the three are present, but their proportion is different during certain times. And our goal is to kind of create the balance. And to create the balance, we make a best use of these qualities. Kapha is heavy, cold, moist. Pitta is hot, light, moist. And Vata is dry, cold, and light. So among here, I just underlined heavy. Kapha is only heavy, other two are light. Pitta is only hot, other two are cold. And Vata is only dry, other two are moist. So when it comes to treating the diseases and all, we think about all these qualities. Then, as I said, we are also part of the nature. So same three energies are in our body too, but in different proportion. We look different, our likes are different, our personalities are different and all. And those difference is because of the unique proportion of this Vata and Pitta and Kapha. Vata is the wind, Pitta is the fire or the heat element energy, and Kapha is the water energy. So we have different proportions of these when we are born, and that creates our different personality that we call in Sanskrit or in Ayurveda as Prakriti, or you can call that as a mind body type or body constitution. And why is it important? Because if you call me and Dr. J, tell me what will be good food for you, for me to eat. So my question to you will be, what is your Prakriti? Because here we are trying to offer personalized health to create that personalized balance. So unless I know who is sitting on one side of the balance, I cannot tell you what will be on the other side of the balance. And that's why this personality looks reflects in your looks, likes, and personality. So I will show you, here is this girl in the red, and she looks a little bit chubby, but look at her face, very smiley, happy face. So Kapha people are little bit chubby. I told you Kapha is heavy. So generally they are little well built, little chubby people, but very sweetheart and very loving and caring and nurturing. And their slogan is, don't worry, be happy. Pitta people are fiery people. This girl on the left side with the blonde hair and all, look at her sharp eyes and sharp nose and sharp features and all that. So Pitta is the fire, and that's what the sharpness is built in them. And Pitta people are very kind of outspoken people. Pitta people are on time machine. Everything has to be on time. Everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be right. I have to be always on the top, perfectionist and all, very competitive personality and all. And that happens because of this Pitta or the fire in predominant in those people. Few people are like Vata type. Look at this girl in the green dress. So she is kind of dancing, walking around. So these Vata people, the wind, because of wind energy, they talk a lot, walk a lot. Always they are on the go. It is very difficult for them to sit in one place. Their mind also is kind of many times racing, and sometimes they feel very anxious and all that. So these different personalities come from the proportion of these three doshas in everybody's body. Remember, everybody has three doshas, but the proportion is different. And that proportion, the predominance of certain doshas shows the characteristics on you, and that tells you how is your personality and why is that personality. And I will send all of you the questionnaire to come up with your own personality so you will know a little bit more about yourself. So this is almost like a genetic blueprint, secret key to your health, because once you know what your prakriti is, then you will know exactly what foods are good for you, what exercise routine you can follow, what lifestyle will be better for you, what what are your disease tendencies. Generally, this girl in the red, she being predominant kapha, she will have problem with cold, congestion, weight gain, lethargy, and all. This pitta person here, the girl in the pink dress, she will have more maybe tendency to have acne, skin issues, body temperature high, sometimes eyes become very red, and building a lot of stress and all those kind of problems. The girl here in the green dress, she may have a tendency to have more kind of dry skin, constipation, pain in the body, just aches and pains here and there, mind start racing, I cannot focus on so many things and all that. So once you know your prakriti, you know what disease tendencies and how to prevent it through the diet and lifestyle. Even you can find a career. If this girl in the green, she is very talkative and constantly on the go, if you make her sit behind the computer and do the repetitive task, she will hate it. These pitta people, when they want to find a career, they are very clear thinkers and they have a great vision. So most of the companies, the manager, the director, the CEOs of the company, having their own businesses, taking decision and all is very easy for them. Kapha people, they just love to do repetitive tasks and they are very good at that. So once you know your prakriti, then so many things will also improve. Even it also improves relationship of friends or spouses or even their bosses and their colleagues and all. Because once you know what your prakriti, other person's prakriti is, then you say, why my boss is so difficult? Why is he so angry? Then you will know he may have more pitta in him. So you will start a little bit ignoring him. Or why do you think somebody cannot make a decision, cannot listen to it, cannot follow the directions and all? Maybe that person is more vata. So once you know about other people, then you become more understanding, you become considerate, and then it is also easy for you to find the right diet and lifestyle to balance yourself. So this prakriti is very unique to Ayurveda, and that solves many of the puzzles about our health and all. Then as I said, every day, every night, around the season, around the year, even around the life cycle also, these three, we go through stages of these three doshas. Look at this cute baby. It's just kind of newborn, maybe 3-4 months old. So that baby is going to grow till puberty. So naturally, the energy of the growth, building tissues and all is the kapha stage. So these babies at the early age, we all are into kapha stage of life. Then after puberty to menopausal age, we are into this midlife, that is pitta stage of life. We get the higher education, we get we have good career, we have good jobs, we make money, we have family, we have children, we do everything for the whole family and all. So after that pitta stage, all that happens. And after menopause, in the old age, we are into vata stage of life. So always remember, we, the senior people, the people in the golden years, we are into vata stage of life. Again, it will change. If your prakriti is vata and you are into vata stage of life, you have to do everything stringently. If your prakriti is different, but you are in vata stage of life, your symptoms will be little milder and all. But we all are into vata stage of life. So Ayurveda always recommends for senior people to focus more on vata dosha. Vata dosha is the wind energy. Now you can see what kind of issues we experience during this Vata stage of life. We all know that Vata is mainly cold, dry, light and mobile, and it becomes predominant at this stage. And that's why we always have circulation problems. The body feels very cold, hands and feet always become numb. That is because the cold quality is increased. Then we get constipated, we get gas and bloating and all because of dry quality. We get aches and pains in the body, the joints hurt, back hurts, these kind of issues. Again, the cold and dry quality has increased. Then the skin becomes very dry, it becomes wrinkly, it itches a lot. Again, why? Because the dry quality of Vata has aggravated. We feel a little bit anxious, worrisome, fearful, and especially right now because of COVID. Even young people are also going through all this anxiety and fearfulness and all that. But especially in old age, that happens more, and that is because of the cold and light quality. Then we cannot concentrate at certain things. The mind starts racing. You may wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. You keep on thinking something, and in the morning you feel very sleepy. All those kind of issues are most of the time Ayurveda says it is because of Vata dosha. And these qualities have aggravated in during this stage of life. So remember, for all these symptoms, how many medications we take? People may be taking 2, 4, 10 handful of medications and all. But here Ayurveda is offering you the solution, medicine free. It's diet, and through the diet and lifestyle. So how do we kind of balance it? Balance Vata qualities, dry, cold, light, and mobile through the moist, warm, dense, and stable qualities. You can see that there is one Ayurvedic concept. It says like increase like and opposite balance each other. Very simple. And we know this concept, but we don't know that we know it. Like, for example, who tells us during summertime to wear cotton clothes and shorts and t-shirts or sleeveless blouses and all that? Nobody knows. We have that inborn intelligence. When the weather starts becoming cold, who tells us to wear a sweater or wear a hat or the gloves and all that? Nobody. We know that. So what you are doing is you are trying to you are doing the opposite quality to balance that excessively aggravated quality. And that's what Ayurveda says, that just balance all these qualities which are causing the problem in old age by the moist, warm, dense, stable qualities. But do you know what we do? We take care of everything externally, but we ignore what goes in our system, what goes in our stomach. Because in the same cold season, we drink ice cold water and ice cold juices, and we eat salads because salad is very healthy and all. But then that starts causing the problem. So we have to change what goes inside the body, that is mainly your food. So once you change the qualities in the food, then definitely you will be balancing these dry, cold, light, mobile qualities of Vata, and you can prevent most of the problems. See how simple it is. Staying healthy is not a rocket science, but if you pay attention to your body and feel how it is feeling, and then do the opposite quality food and lifestyle, then you can create this balance and you can prevent most of these problems which we saw in this list here. Then let's talk about a little bit diet, because Ayurveda is very high on diet and lifestyle. And think about this, why diet is so important. Because when we were in the fetal state, in the mother's womb, the body from one cell to the whole human newborn baby was developed through the food mother ate. So remember, all the tissues are made up of, your whole body is made up of nothing but the food we eat. And that's why in yogic system it says Annamaya Kosha. This physical body is Annamaya Kosha. It is made up of food. So if you pay attention to the qualities of foods and all, you can heal yourself just through the food. So Ayurveda says what you should emphasize on is to favor warm foods because Vata dosha is very cold. And so you want to eat breakfast in the morning. Instead of cold milk and cereal, you can have oatmeal cereal, cream of wheat, grits, upma, or idli and sambar. Those kind of warm foods, so that will warm your body. Instead of salads, you can consume like a bowl of hot piping soup. That will help. Stews or khichdi and curry, or some vegetable with some gravy to that or juice to that, which will be also kind of liquid and warm. And those foods will literally, you will feel like a soul food. And that will not only nourish your body, but it will balance Vata dosha and you will feel grounded, you will feel more calm, and you will feel balanced. Then also eat freshly cooked food. It is very important that food should have plenty of prana in it. If you eat very stale food, if you keep it in the refrigerator, just warm it up, or if you eat ready-made food and all, once it is cooked, it starts losing prana. So when you are eating fresh food, then only you are going to get plenty of life energy through that prana. And that is our goal, is to have that life energy, that prana, so we can live healthy longer. Then eat foods that are easily digestible. Remember, I said in golden years, our system start becoming a little bit weak. So if you are eating cheeses, if you are eating fried food, if you are eating foods which are very difficult to digest and all, you will have some digestive issues. Instead of once in a while on a weekend or something, you can eat those heavy foods. But most of the time, start focusing more on easily digestible food. So you can have all the flavors, you can add some oil to that, but it should not be fried. It should not be very heavy. It should not be creamy. It should not be cheesy and all that, because that becomes very difficult to digest. Then limit raw foods. And why am I saying that? Because raw foods have a lot of air element in it. And you will notice it, that if you eat like a big bowl of salad as a meal, as a lunch or dinner, within 4 or 5 hours, you will really feel gassy and bloated. So as we grow mature, we grow older, we have to start eating more cooked foods and limit our raw foods. You can have raita or something as raw, but most of the foods should be cooked, well cooked, not overly cooked, but well cooked and all that. You will always feel better that way. Then limit international cuisine. And remember, here in the US especially, one day let's have Chinese food, second day let's go for Mexican, third day Italian food. There is so much variety and abundance of food. But if your digestive system is very sensitive, if it is weak, then it is not going to digest all those foods. So again, I would recommend limit your international cuisine to maybe once a week or something, but every day start eating very simple foods. Very, very important. Then emphasize on all the food groups. Right now we are into this craze that only you have to eat very high protein. Carbs are really bad. Before we were talking about fats are really bad, but now Ayurveda says you need carb, you need protein, you need fat, you need vegetables and all. So all the food groups are very, very important. Few years ago, fat was always bad. Even right now, if I tell somebody to eat ghee and people are worried my cholesterol will go high. But remember, when we do puja, when we do any yajna during the wedding, the fire is going on and we pour 1 teaspoon ghee at a time and that fire flares up. Same thing happens in the body. If you add 1 or 2 teaspoons of ghee with your lunch and dinner, your digestion will be strong. Your digestive enzymes will digest that food better. So some amount of good quality fat is essential for the body. And especially as we get older. Remember, if our car is old, we have to lubricate it. We have to change the oil more often. Same way, when our tissues are kind of deteriorating, our skin is becoming dry, we have a lot of itching and drying of the skin and all, we need some fat. We need some good oils in our food and also for the massage. And I would recommend you, ghee is the best quality of fat you will get. Then and why I have this picture of this Time magazine, there was article, it says eat butter. And now even cardiologists are saying that some amount of good quality fat, that is oil or ghee, should be the part of our meal because that even improves our heart health. Then we are talking about everything warm. Favor warm drinks instead of ice cold. Here in US, everything is very ice cold. Even we ask for the water without ice, the water is icy cold. So always go for warm drinks, herbal teas like licorice tea, cinnamon tea, or cardamom tea, or chamomile tea, any kind of herbal teas. But also if you want to drink water, drink warm water and that will do you the best. And drink minimum 5 to 6 glasses of water. Ayurveda doesn't tell you to drink 10, 12 glasses. Based on your prakriti, it will vary, but minimum you need 5 to 6 glasses of water every day. But if you drink warm, that is always will be the best. Then Ayurveda also says that eat only 3 meals a day and zip your lips in between. And why is that? Because when you eat any food, it takes 5 to 6 hours to pass through your whole digestive system. And that's why if you eat breakfast, then after 5 hours you eat lunch, and again after 5 hours you eat your dinner. And in between only around 3, 4 o'clock, you can eat some fruits. But mainly the 3 meals and zipping your lips in between and stopping munching will be the best for your health, because constant munching, maybe cheese and crackers, cookies and candies and cakes and all those kind of munching foods will cause you indigestion and that will cause you more health issues. So that's what Ayurveda says, eat only 3 meals and zip your lips in between. And make lunch as a main meal and eat light breakfast and light dinner. Because the sun is the representation of pitta, or the fire in the body. Sun is at the peak in the afternoon. So make lunch as a main meal and eat light breakfast and light dinner. So those make like a 3 meals a day plan. Then take 20-30 minute nap after the lunch. It is, I'm not talking about hour or 2 in your bed with a comforter on. That will make you very sluggish and tiring. But if you take this quick nap sitting on the couch and all, will really refresh you. Because when you eat food, all the blood goes to your digestive system. So it's not in your mind. So you feel kind of sluggish. You feel like napping. So just nap 20-30 minutes, and that is very, very healthy. And even the research also shows that few naps in between is very beneficial. It refreshes you, it refreshes your mind. But the sleep, 2-3 hours of sleep will increase your blood sugar and diabetes and weight gain and all that. So I'm just talking here about the nap. And then fast 1 day a week. And we all Indian people fast because fasting is the big thing in our culture. If I am Shiva Bhakta, I fast on Monday. I am Ganesha Bhakta, I fast on Tuesday. So they connect the religious things to this fasting. But By fasting, you rest your digestive system. You give a rest to your digestive system. So it can take care of all the leftover food. It digests well. You feel lighter. You feel more energetic and all. So based on your eating pattern, for example, if you are going out to eat on Saturday, then I would recommend you fast on Sunday. If you eat heavy foods on Sunday, then fast on Monday. But at least give your system some rest, so it will start functioning better. And eat seasonal and local. There is always a kind of advantage of eating the local food, because the local produce get the same water and the soil and the temperature, the sunshine and all same as you are. So local food is more balancing to your health, and Mother Nature always produces the balancing food during every season. And let me give you an example. During summertime, it's hot. So all the melons, watermelon, cantaloupe, honeydew melon, peaches, pears, which are the fruits are cooling, are grown during summertime. When we go to fall, look at this picture in the right. All the pumpkins and squashes and all are produced during that season. So if you eat those kind of vegetables and produce during fall, it is good for you. Eat all the fruits and all more during summertime. In fall, you will get persimmon, you will get uh, uh, pomegranate, and all those fruits are better in the fall. So instead of eating around the year, if you eat seasonally, that will help you to balance your body better. So that's about the food and lifestyle. Again, what we are trying to do is balance the cold and dry quality by keeping yourself warm. And here, wherever you go, the weather is always, temperature is very cold. So in the offices, in the library, if you go to somebody's house, always carry a shawl, always carry a light jacket or something with you. So if you feel cold, you can keep yourself warm. Then wear the darker color clothes, because darker, especially red color or dark color, they absorb more heat. So you will feel more warm. So use those kind of colors. Instead of white, use darker colors. That will always help. Then make use of oil massage. Make oil massage your friend. And if you want to do one thing at old age, I would recommend you massage your whole body with warm sesame oil, because it balances your vata dosha. Vata is very cold, warm sesame oil. Vata is very dry, sesame oil is very unctuous, it is very moistening. So if you massage at least 2-3 times a week, if you don't have the time for the whole body massage, you can massage your head, you can massage your palms, you can massage your soles of the feet. But if you do that every day, you will be amazed by how great you will feel, because it just kind of makes your mind more calm. It balances vata dosha, and you will not get like a aging spots, or your skin will not be wrinkled. It will be very smooth and shiny. So this oil massage is very, very important. Again, you can pour few drops of warm sesame oil in both the ears. If somebody may be complaining about tinnitus, ringing in the ears and all, try to pour these few drops of warm sesame oil in both ears at bedtime, and you will really see that you will sleep like a baby, and that ringing will also stop. Then do the oil pulling in the morning. This oil pulling has becoming very in thing these days. And what do you do is take 1 tablespoon of warm sesame oil and swish in your mouth for a good like 7 to 10 minutes. It will lubricate your teeth, it will lubricate your gums, your oral mucosa, your upper respiratory, your nose, your eyes. You will see the benefit of lubrication of all your senses and all that by just doing this oil pulling and pouring this sesame oil in both the ears. Very simple, but the effect is profound. Then you may be doing so many activities, but also do some meditation, pranayam for peaceful mind. Especially Brahmari pranayam, Anulom Vilom pranayam, meditation. Those are very beneficial practices when you do at night. In the morning and in the evening, you will sleep sound, and your whole day will be in the more, you will feel more energy. Also do as many yoga poses as possible. I would recommend you to join the class instead of doing on your own. So your teacher will be watching and you will do the right poses. Or also like a Chinese Tai Chi, Qigong. These are also energy practices are very beneficial at this old age. It doesn't put so much kind of stress on your muscles and all, but it really works for the whole body and also your mind. And the third thing I will always recommend you, do some volunteer work. Remember, all our life we worked to get the money, to have all the possessions and all. Now is the time to give it back to the society. So when we do some volunteer work, we do some selfless action. And when we see the happiness and the smile and the joy on other person's face, and it really, you are getting much more than any monetary benefits and all. So at these golden years, always keep on helping other people, doing the volunteer work, taking care of yourself through the diet and lifestyle and all. And you will really see, you will stay young for a long period of time and you will enjoy your golden years. Again, for simple thing, I would recommend lot of people in old age, they are constipated. So simple Triphala Churna, which is available even in Indian store, has tremendous benefits that helps you to have regular elimination. You feel more lighter, you feel hungry, you feel more energetic. So half teaspoon of Triphala Churna at bedtime with warm water, or if it is in tablet, take 2 tablets at night. Immune boost, we want to keep our immune system very strong. I have created this formula, immune boost, and it has like turmeric, Brahmi, Punarnava, Giloy, and all these herbs, and they really work to keep your immune system strong. Very important. Here is one more Hingashtak Churna, and I will send you the recipe for this. If you feel gas, bloating, your digestion is sluggish, you can take half teaspoon of Hingashtak Churna just before dinner. Mix with your food and just take it, and that will relieve the gas, bloating, and all that. I also have created like immune boost, this formula part extension to calm the mind and to sleep soundly. Again, it has Brahmi, Shankhapushpi, Jatamansi, all these Ayurvedic herbs. But many times we get all these symptoms like constipation and gas, and we want to keep our immune system strong. We want to sleep sound. So these kind of formula, these kind of herbs are very good at this age. So what things do we have to remember is, first I told you the nature and the life is nothing but the play of these three natural energies. Kapha dosha is water energy, Pitta dosha is fire energy, and the Vata dosha is the wind energy. And these three energies work in our body too. And those energies, the proportion of that in our body is called mind body type. And our goal is to know our own prakriti. So we can help ourselves with the diet and lifestyle. Also that we are into Vata stage of life. So follow Vata balancing diet and lifestyle. It is very, very important. And what are Vata balancing diet lifestyle? Eating warm foods, moist foods, staying away from cold and dry cold liquids, staying away from dry foods, and also just doing the oil massage, restful sleep, and those things are important. And spend time pursuing your hobbies and all to enjoy these golden years. Because when we retire, it's not that we stop doing everything, only we do things which we love to do, which we are passionate about. And that's what is, again, there is a saying that we don't stop playing because we grow old, but we grow old because we stop playing. And that's what, keep on playing. Keep on doing, following your hobby. Keep on helping other people and keep on staying young. This is what I wanted to share with you. So let me stop this presentation. And
I have some questions here.
yes,
on
Hema,
the
we
chat.
may have some questions. So
Yeah.
I will be glad to answer all the questions now.
Okay. Mr. Jayan Godpagar, he is asking, with families with different prakriti,
Mhm.
how can we cook different food for different people?
Okay, it's a good question. Again, in the family, you will have, if your wife and you may be different, but your children may be the combination of you or your wife, right? And what you do, suppose you make rice and dal and raita and all that, you eat more quantities of those. Like for example, if I'm kapha and I want to eat, I want to add more spice to my food. So basic, you don't cook very spicy, but when you eat, you add more spices in your food. If you make sabji and eating breakfast is very easy. Everybody can eat different breakfasts, but the quantities you eat you will just kind of vary it by changing the taste. And I'm going to talk during the next session about different taste and how to create the balancing food. So it is very easy to balance. It's not that difficult.
Okay. Our next question is, what are your views on gluten-free diet?
Okay, what I feel that these biogenetical engineered foods are not good for us. But if you have been eating chapati for all your life, all of a sudden you do not become gluten intolerant. What to those clients, what I do is I give them some herbs to improve their digestion, and then they see that those gluten foods do not cause them the problem.
Okay. Our next question is, how can I improve my platelets? I have very low platelets.
Okay, these kind of questions is difficult to answer in this. Here with everybody present, I will answer generalized questions, not personal questions.
Okay. He is asking, where do we get Hingashtaka Churna?
Okay, what I'm going to do, it's very easy to make. I'm going to email you the recipe for Hingashtak Churna and you can make it at home. It will be very fresh and it will be very beneficial for you.
At what age does Vata age start?
Okay, so there is no exactly like a demarcation that at 60 you become Vata and all that. Slowly, it is a transition time. Ayurveda also says, it's so beautiful in Ayurveda. It says Rutu Sandhi, like seasons also. It doesn't stop like one day it is spring and next day it is summertime. That doesn't happen. Slowly, the spring is ending and the summer, the temperature starts rising off. So that period in between, it could vary depending on your prakriti, but you can think about a year or two as a changing period in your whole lifespan.
Right.
But that happens around like menopause. Then you may ask me the question, do men also have menopause? Yes, they do. Only women have menopause because it is very obvious. Women were bleeding and the period stopped during menopause. But hormones coming down to their level is kind of the menopause. And men also have menopause as their menarche or the puberty is late compared to women. Same way, their menopause also is little late than women.
Next question is there a specific way to do oil massage?
Yes, the first thing in oil massage, the oil has to be warm and do not heat the oil. I would recommend you keep the oil bottle in hot water. And you can use the candle warmer or coffee warmer. So it keeps that oil warm most of the time. And then you take it on your 1 teaspoon in your palm and start, especially your extremities. First you go away from the heart and then you come toward the heart. And around the joint, go into circular fashion. So just massage your both the extremities, massage your belly, massage your back as much as you can, or ask your spouse, and especially also massage your head. That is very, very critical. And for the head, you use coconut oil because head is a tremendously heating organ. So coconut oil is cooling. So we always use coconut oil for head massage, but rest of the body, you use sesame oil.
Okay, we have a couple of more questions.
Mhm.
Is it not recommended to eat fruit with your meal?
Yes, generally we recommend to eat fruit in between meals. That's what I said, that you eat lunch around noon to 1 and eat your dinner around 7, 7:30. So around 4 o'clock or so, you can eat a fruit. Don't mix it with the food. Because what happens most of the time, if the fruits are sour, then it kind of changes the qualities of the whole food. It sours the food more and then it causes the problem. So eat in between meals.
Next question is how to lower high blood pressure?
Again, I'm going to give a separate talk on high blood pressure and all. It's not that simple, just it's not a general question. I will answer it later.
Right. Is there a specific time to drink water?
Okay,
Before
it's a
or
very-
later the meal?
Yeah, it's a very good question. And I would recommend you, I will tell you the timing. First, drink 1 or 2 glasses right after waking up. It will just cleanse your whole system. Your bowel movement will be good. You will feel better. You will feel more energy. Then drink 1 glass 1 hour after breakfast. Do not drink with the food. Do not drink right after the food or right before the food because you will weaken the digestive enzymes. But 1 hour later is kind of cleansing the system. So 1 or 2 glasses right after waking up, then 1 hour after breakfast, 1 hour after lunch, 1 hour after dinner, and 1 at night. So those are 5 to 6 glasses of water.
What is the right way to take Triphala Churna?
Okay, you can take it if you like the bitter astringent taste, then take churna. Churna is always bitter. And you can start with quarter teaspoon or half a teaspoon at bedtime with warm water. If you don't like the taste, then take 2 tablets of Triphala at bedtime. And Triphala is, remember, Triphala is not only its laxative. Triphala, we also call it as a rasayana. If you want to take it as a laxative, take at night. But if you want to take it as rasayana, good for all the system, then take it in the morning.
It is also about Triphala Churna. Next question.
Hmm.
Do we need to mix Triphala Churna in warm water?
Yes, you can mix it or you can just take it and drink warm water, but mixing is always better because otherwise it is also bitter astringent. So it will dry your throat if you just take the powder. So mixing in water always is better.
And this lady says, like, I'm extremely constipated all the time.
Mhm.
Triphala does not work for me.
Mm.
What can I do?
Okay, so if you are extremely constipated, that means your body is very, very dry. So you have to make sure that you add some oil and ghee in your diet. So I would recommend you to take 2 teaspoons of ghee, 1 teaspoon with lunch, 1 teaspoon with dinner, and at night drink 1 cup of warm milk and add 1 teaspoon of ghee in it and drink that. And also you have to add a little bit more oil in your food because the dryness of the body shows that your body inside is very dry. So you have to add more things. And in some of the clients, we also give them oil enemas. Body is so dry. And the colon is the seat of Vata dosha. And that's what those oil enemas help them tremendously to loosen all that matter which is just sitting there dry. It moistens it and then they get good bowel movement.
Thanks for recommending Dr. Deepak Chopra's book. It talks about sub-doshas,
Mhm.
how to find them and match with diet and lifestyle.
Now it's sub-doshas and all is more in-depth knowledge. Right now, you as a lay person, you don't need to do that or you don't need to match those. As long as you match your Vata Pitta Kapha, that is plenty for you.
Is almond oil recommended for massage as well?
Almond oil, you can use it for the face and all, but Ayurveda always recommends sesame oil because it is more warming and it is more lubricating and your body needs that lubrication. That's why sesame oil is better for the for the whole body.
is your Prakriti is kapha,
Mhm.
should you still use sesame oil for massage and oil pulling?
Okay, your body is kapha dosha predominant, and kapha also is cold. So sesame oil being warm will always help you. So you can use sesame oil even if you are kapha for oil pulling and also for the body massage.
There is one more question for Triphala Churna.
Okay.
Can I take Triphala at every night?
Yes, definitely you can. Remember, Triphala is not habit forming. You can take Triphala for months or even years. Lot of people take Triphala throughout the year. And not only because it is constipating, but it is good for all the systems. So you definitely can take Triphala for many months. Take it at night. That will give you good bowel movement and you will overall feel much better.
Can you please explain oil pulling?
Okay, so as I said, oil pulling in Ayurveda, it was says Kavala and Gandusha. So either you gargle with some herbal decoction or you use the sesame oil. So in oil pulling, we use sesame oil. If you see on internet, they talk about coconut oil, but sesame oil is better, and I will tell you why. Because sesame is rich in calcium. Our teeth, our hair, our nails are related to bone, that is related to calcium. And when you are gargling with sesame oil, it really strengthens your teeth, your gums, your oral mucosa, and it is good for all your senses also. So use sesame oil, don't use coconut oil. Sesame oil is always better. And what you do, just take 1 tablespoon of sesame oil, keep it in your mouth and swish it around. So it will just kind of coat your all the gums and teeth and all, and it will work better. But you have to swish it for like good 7 to 10 minutes. Don't just take it in mouth and just spit it out in a minute or two. That's not going to help. You have to keep it in your mouth for a long period of time. And when you spit it out, you will always see the froth. You won't see the oil. So that all the oiliness, unctuousness is kind of your teeth and gums are just kind of absorbing it.
And one more question. Which oil is good for cooking? I use peanut oil.
Okay, peanut oil is good. Peanut oil is warming. Only I would recommend you not use peanut oil during summertime, and especially you are living in these southern states because it's very hot here, and peanut will increase the heat in the body. But otherwise, rest of the seasons you can use peanut oil. I would recommend you don't use processed oil. Use as much natural as possible.
Are hives a pitta dosha?
Yeah, hives generally, when the pitta dosha is imbalanced, people get hives. And I have excellent herbs and all for these kind of issues, and people really see the difference.
And how do you make triphala?
You don't have to make the triphala is the combination of 3 medicinal fruit. So it's called three phala. Phala is the haritaki, you call harde, bibhitaki, beheda, and amlaki or amla. Is the combination of all those 3. And that is available in the Indian grocery store. If you can order it from Amazon, Whole Foods has it. Even this triphala has become so popular, it is available even in your pharmacy also.
I have heard that make your own triphala. Do not buy from over the counter.
Okay, then you can make your own triphala by using haritaki, bibhitaki, and amalaki. You can buy those individual and use it in the same proportion.
We use olive oil. Is this okay?
For cooking, olive oil is okay, but its smoking point is very low. So if you just cook it to make tadka and all that, then you have to heat it up a lot and it will smoke. That's why we don't, but in India, we didn't have olive oil. So Ayurveda doesn't have much to talk about, but definitely you can use olive oil if you feel comfortable.
Which is the oil best for baby massage?
Sesame oil. Because the babies are into kapha stage of life, kapha is cold. So warm sesame oil is very nourishing, lubricating. So use sesame oil. I use
And
like a gallons and gallons of oil in my office because we do panchakarma and lot of oil therapies and all that.
is there any room for ice cream in diet? I was told if you want to eat before 5 p.m. and do not eat at night.
Okay, there is room in Ayurveda for everything. Remember, ice cream is cold, so you can eat it during summertime. One scoop of ice cream is not that bad. But when the temperature is hot, you are eating the cold food. So that's okay. So you can use it on and off, but don't just have that ice cream every like a 2 or 3 scoops every night. Because what I said, during daytime, especially in the afternoon, the temperature is high. So you can have a scoop of ice cream, definitely.
Dr. J, there are 2 or 3 more questions. Do you think
Okay.
we have time for that?
Yes, it's 5:22. So we will end at 5:30. Till then, I can answer all the questions.
Okay. Isabgol is better or Triphala Churna?
I would recommend Triphala Churna is better because it is good for all the systems. Remember, it has Amla ki in it. Amla is the best for your body. One fruit, Amla fruit, is richest source of vitamin C. More than 5,000 units of vitamin C. Amla is good to balance your Pitta dosha. Amla is good to boost your immune system. Haritaki is excellent to balance your Vata dosha. It is good for your mind. Even the name Haritaki, which takes you to Hari, takes you to God. So Haritaki is excellent. So all these herbs have so many positive effects on your body. So I would recommend you to take Triphala than Isabgol, because Isabgol is just kind of increases the bulk of your stools. But Triphala has so many other benefits also.
We get frozen amla. Is that okay to use?
Yes, you can use frozen amla, you can use amla powder, you can use dry amla pieces, or in Indian store these days you get like a fresh amla, wash it because it is very salty, wash it, take away the salt, and you can eat that amla fruit. It is excellent, excellent. Even for diabetes, there is some research done that if you eat 1 or 2 amlas every day, that also helps to maintain your blood sugar. I'm not saying just stop taking medicines and eat only amla, but what I'm saying, along with it, if you eat amla, that helps a lot.
Is avocado oil okay to cook with? If not, which oil do you recommend?
Avocado oil?
Yes.
No, you can use sesame oil, you can use peanut oil, you can use canola oil, but they have to be not processed oils. Unprocessed oil is always better.
Okay. I don't understand this one, but is Purne is better than Triphala? Purne, Purne. Does he mean prune? I don't know.
I don't know either. That I don't understand that question.
It's a prune
yeah,
juice.
neither.
Oh, prune juice.
It's
Yes.
a prune, yeah.
Oh, prune,
Prune
not
juice.
yeah. You can have prune juice, but that also helps. But Triphala works much better.
Do you sell Triphala?
Yes, I have in my office. Yes.
Okay. And I have one more last question. Can you share the herb slide again from your slide presentation?
Okay, the slide I stopped presenting, but I will try to 1 minute show you again. So here I have shown you the immune boost. Triphala also I have in my office, Triphala capsules or immune boost, or Hingashtak Churna. I'm going to send you the recipe. And I have this formula called extension, Brahmi, Shankhapushpi, Jatamansi, Ashwagandha and all, to calm the mind and sleep very soundly.
Okay, that's all the questions that I have.
Okay, good, good, good. So it's almost our time also is over. Let me just. Okay, so thank you very much for all of you to attending this. I hope you learned something new. At least you learned about 3 doshas, how the food affects the qualities in the food and how that affects us and all. The next session is going to be let my food be my medicine. Very interesting topic. So I hope you all join us again. And remember the link I have sent you this time is going to work for all the 5 seminars. Okay. So don't worry about it. You save it somewhere. So you will find it every Sunday. Okay. So thank you very much and have a great day and have a great week. Namaste. Till next
Namaste.
Sunday.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Namaste. Thank you.